Okay, we're ready to sgraffito our design onto our underglazed pinch pot. So what you want to do is you want to find a wooden tool that has a point on the edge. Something like this, something like this, something like this. And you want to transfer down, or make an imprint rather, of your design as you trace it down through the tracing paper with that tool. You don't want to use something pointy like this because it will push through the tracing paper and rip it. So you want to use something a little bit duller. I'm going to use this one. You could even use the back of the other side of a brush if it's thin enough. This actually would work. I'm going to use this pointy wooden tool. Okay, so you want to make sure either you're sitting down or you have a piece of foam here, and you want to be very careful with your pinch pot because tendency for students is to lean this up against the table or desk and push on it, and they'll push hard enough where they'll push this pinch pot in and break it. So you really want to be careful of it, even taking something like maybe a roll of paper towels or something to lean this on while you're working. So I'm going to get a stool and I am going to sit while I do this, get comfortable. I want to line this up. Now, if you have a design that's very technical, that repeats every so many inches, you're going to want to make little marks. Okay, you can just make a little mark in your sgraffito where to start that. But just for time purposes, I am just going to sgraffito this right on top, anywhere. But for our purposes, for class purposes, you're going to want to measure it out. Okay, so you want to take your wooden tool. I keep my pinky here for support, and you want to start just enough pressure on the wooden tool to make an indent in your clay so that you can sgraffito your design. And if it's not perfect when you get it off, sometimes that's okay, because it leaves space for you to almost redesign your original design right on your pot. You might have made a happy mistake and then decide, gee, well, I didn't think of that before. Maybe I could do it this way, or maybe I could carve out this area and keep this area, something like that. In art, you're constantly talking to yourself, making decisions. Should I do this? Should I do that? I know I am. I'm always talking to myself. My husband laughs at me. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up here. I'm just going to do this paisley really fast just to show you. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take the stylist tool, and we have a few. It just depends on how thick you want your sgraffito line. We have a very thick stylus tool with a large ball on the end. We have a medium one, and then we have a very small one. It really just depends on how thick you want your line. I particularly like the smaller one. And then to sort of carve out a large area, you want to use this tool with a little loop on the end. Or you can use one of the other carving tools such as this. It just depends on how big of an area. My paisley's pretty small, so I would use this. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to then, again, keeping your pinky here for support, start on an area and just start sgraffitoing. You don't want to go in too thick, too far. You don't want to go in too far. And you don't want to just scratch the surface either. You want to go a little bit deeper than the surface. Okay? Taking off those little fuzzy pieces. And again, if those little fuzzy pieces get in the way, you can take this rubber tip tool and you can just go right into your sgraffitoed line to get rid of those. Okay? So there's my outline of my paisley. Look at that. So I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to continue carving, or sgraffitoing rather, well, sgraffito is a form of carving. So I'm going to finish sgraffitoing my pinch pot. Then I'm going to fire it, and then I'm going to apply 2 coats of clear glaze onto it. Okay, so I am going to do that, come back and show you how to apply the clear glaze. But let me just show you so far what I've been doing. And also, if those little clay, excuse me, those little clay pieces get stuck, you never want to blow. You always want to use a soft brush to get them out. Blowing will just blow all of the residue off your table onto somebody else, which is not very nice. And it just blows the mess around. And you also might inhale it, so you don't want to do that. So you want to just take a very soft brush and get those off. Okay, so I am going to come back and finish sgraffitoing, and I'll come back after I finish the sgraffito and I fire my pot, and then I'll show you how to apply the clear glaze.